Hey everyone, it's Spicy Sushi. I'm feeling pretty sick today, so it's not going to be like the most edited video ever, but I really wanted to get this information out there for people who are like, I've been getting so many questions about what my Atlas tree is going to be for my progression, for my League Start strategy. If you haven't seen it, I do recommend checking it out. So I'm going to go over the first weekend, like the first few day progression that I'm going to do. This is not going to cover my Atlas tree later in the week, but this is going to cover my early thought processes for the beginning of my League Start strategy. And so I'll go over that with you. Now, if you haven't checked it out, like I said, I recommend checking out the League Start strategy, or these decisions are not really going to make much sense to you. Basically, for my Explosive Arrow League Starter, I am going to be farming Heist until I am ready for T16s, which is very easy on Explosive Arrow. The build is extremely strong, so this really should be no issue whatsoever. So basically, my build is going to be T16 map viable in the very first 6 hours of Path of Exile Sentinel, right? So I'm really not going to care about making any money from my maps. The only thing I care about early on is map progression, speed, and getting experience, okay? And so that's what this is focused on. So it's going to look kind of weird here, but we're going to be doing a kind of HC, hardcore SSF speed run strategy. Usually they just bum rush through the middle here and grab the Curak nodes and the Quantity nodes up here, but since we are going to be grabbing these Expedition nodes later on and these Harvest nodes later on, we're going to be pathing through here, and more travel nodes are actually fine, honestly. And yes, I'm not going to be caring about Essence yet. I really am not going to be caring about money, essence, crafting my own gear at all until I get into red maps, which is when it actually might start mattering. Honestly, I think my build might just push straight through T16s without an issue, so I'm not going to care about the gearing process at all yet. So anyway, like I said, travel nodes, we're going to take this really good Shaping the Skies node, very popular node for map sustain, 15% chance to be 1 tier higher, 5/5. And we have our travel nodes, obviously, and then we go right here, and this is when I'm actually going to take Ominous Arrival. Now, keep in mind, Harbinger is kind of horrible for money, but that is not the reason that we're taking this. In my last video, I described, or I explained that this is for experience, right? So at every map, we're going to be getting a good amount of rare monsters from this, a nice boost in XP, a nice little stimulus check, and we're going to collect that every single map since it is a 100% guaranteed, right? So it can drop maps, it's going to give us some nice XP, and that is also why we're not going to be blocking League mechanics yet, because the thing is, the more content in our maps, the better for XP. Now, honestly, I could actually block some stuff that I will literally never do, which is like a Metamorph here, as well as Ritual Altars. So, this is, this is an option, but honestly, I'm going to be focusing on map sustain more than anything at this point, so that's why we're just going to be rushing straight for Curak after this, okay? With these small nodes, the reason it's important to go left is because we're going to be getting a 60% increased chance of scouting reports in our maps, and these small nodes are going to give us additional flat chance to get a Curak mission on completion. Curak missions equal map completion, because when you go to his vendor, he will very often give you maps, especially if you have the specific scouting report to give you map completion. So, and then we're going to do the classic map sustain here with Shaping the Seas and Shaping the Valleys, and we're also actually going to even juice it further by getting these Shaping the Mountains. So we're going to have a massive map sustain going on here. I should be just zooming through maps as fast as possible. This is going to be like getting into yellows at this point, I believe, or we may even be early yellows. So, but we are going to be drowning in maps, okay? At this point, I would probably start thinking about Essence. So I'm going to go ahead and get a guaranteed Essence on my map. This Shaping the Skies node, 3% chance on completing a map, so you get a free use of a special map crafting option. That means Essence for 3 Chaos could be free. Now this is a random map crafting option, so we could get a free Essence from that too. So that's when Essence is going to be pretty strong at this point. I'm going to be picking up these Essence nodes, since even if we don't have the Chaos for the map device, we could get it from this, and we might have some leftover Chaos from Heist, but we will be getting a guaranteed Essence every map. So I'm also actually going to path this way. It's kind of weird since we have 3 right here, but since we're going to be making a diagonal here, it's really not that, it might as well do this upper left. So we're going to take these small nodes going left for this, for the Shrieking to be duplicated. This is a really strong node, and we're also going to complete it with this node right here, Amplified Energies. So I'm also, at this point, Stream of Consciousness time, because honestly, the more content, the more XP I'm going to be getting, and it's really important. Now, obviously, for something like Metamorph, I'm not going to stop for it, or Ritual, but if I get a Breach on my map, I'm going to run over the Breach and just drop some Ballistas and keep running for more XP. I want to be in the level 90s for a Logbook, since Logbooks are pretty difficult at high item level if you're fighting like Olroth from Danig books. So it is important that I want to be in the 90s, so I do need to be just juicing as much XP as I can while not sacrificing map progression, okay? So there is some flexibility here, because the next choice is, what do I want to do? Do I want to block Atlas mechanics? And the decision will probably be yes. I'm probably going to start blocking mechanics that I do not care at all about, which is going to be Metamorph, Blight, and Ritual. Now, Mirrors of Delirium are very important for experience early on, and Explosive Arrow is a very strong build. So I'm going to be getting these for sure, because that's just, you know, free loot, free XP. I don't have to stop for anything. I'm going to come over here and probably block Legion, and then after that, Abyss. So I am not blocking Breach yet, since Breach is some free XP. I just don't stop for the Breach, but I run over it and drop totems, and they kill monsters. So, you know, I think a lot of people are just blocking things way too quickly, in my opinion, when experience is really important at League Start if you're like a speedrunner like me. So, okay, well, I'm not a speedrunner, but, you know, I do do things faster and you know, kind of blast pretty hard at League Start. But at this point, it's really, if I'm not feeling too great on XP, and I'm probably going to be fine on gear, you may be asking, so when's Harvest happening? Well, Harvest is really, honestly, not that strong until you get to red maps, and I should be in red maps at this point, so that's why I'm thinking it's time to pick it up. But honestly, if I'm not feeling bad on gear, like if I'm just blasting, I'm probably just going to focus on XP. So what do I mean by that? I mean, I'm probably going to go this way, actually. Well, either that or I'll just path through here, probably, just for some flat chance at Harvest. I'll probably path through there, to be honest. Or if I have unmakings, I mean, I could just respec it, but I do want to kind of get to this Harbinger node right here. So that is what we'd get here, this 5% chance for additional Harbinger. More monsters means more XP, more map drops. And then also, I'd probably, at this point, path right here and get that node right there. So, because this is going to give us a 25% chance to be replaced by a powerful Harbinger boss, that's going to be a lot of rares, a lot of XP. So yeah, and then my next points is probably going to be time to do Harvest. I'm going to prioritize Harvest over Expedition, since Harvest is going to give me access to upgrades when I get to like very high tier reds. Expedition is something I don't really want to focus too much on until I'm pretty suited, I'm pretty geared up, so yeah. So yeah, I'm going to block Breach at this point. I'm going to, because it's just 1 point, I'm going to go ahead and block Mirrors of Delirium, and because it's time to start focusing in on, you know, my strategy, right? So I'm going to actually keep Heist open, because I'm going to be grabbing these Heist nodes later for just free money, because it's just a click on the box, so there's really no point in not grabbing it. Or there's really not a point in blocking Heist, in my opinion, if you don't mind selling blueprints, is what I mean. So anyway, it's time to path over here to our natural harvest chances. It's time to take our harvest node here, time to take our harvest node here, and probably some more flat chance right there. And yeah, so we're pretty suited up on harvest, and we have 35 points remaining, and we're still getting a lot of map sustain. We haven't dropped our map sustain nodes yet. That's not happening until later on. It's time for Expedition. So this is when I would just go straight for Expedition. Right here, just all the Expedition nodes, they're all helpful. Go right there. All these Expedition nodes, very, very nice. And yeah, we have 14 points remaining. We have all of our Atlas, you know, we are blocking things we don't want. We have all of our harvest nodes. We have our Expedition nodes. We need that one harvest node right there. So the next decision is a pretty flexible one, and I think I'm honestly going to just pick up Heist, because it's just a one click in my map, and I'm good to go on that. And then I'm probably going to move to my Eldritch Altar after that, but I'm going to need to respec some progression nodes. My Atlas is pretty much done at this point. I'm hoping I am sustaining pretty well, and so that's when I would start dropping some sustain nodes. Like, I think this is the first one that I would drop. I think next one that I would drop would probably be like this one. And Actually, I'm not doing Fortune Favors the Brave, so I might just draw both of these, honestly. So that's going to give me 9 points to work with. I can grab Eldritch Gaze, which, if you didn't know, Eldritch Altars are very important for Expedition because you can get quantity. They can increase the base chance of your map quantity, so this could give like 30% more quant on our map, which is going to be big for Expedition. The issue is these might be pretty hard, but that's also a good reason why we pathed here, so we can take up Wellspring of Creation if the maps are really, really hard, because more monster life is not an issue for Explosive Arrow. The build is just cracked. And so just them doing less damage is going to be a big deal. Now, I don't want to get rid of Harbinger yet. Honestly, I'm going to be getting pretty fed up with doing Harbinger at this point. Oh, I can actually refund this point. I'm going to be pretty fed up with doing Harbinger at this point. Honestly, I'll be wanting to respec out of this as soon as possible, but if I can't do it, I can't do it. You know, like if I'm still not getting as much XP as I'd like, then yeah, that's a possibility. But I do want to get to this Eldritch Altar node right here. This is a huge node. So yeah, this is pretty much complete. We have 1 point remaining, so we could just take something like 5 additional essence, something like that. As you see, I'm not going to care about strong boxes. I've done a lot of strong box testing. I've just never really enjoyed it. I've never had a good time with strong boxes. Oh, there's a point right there. And so it's not a node that I would particularly care about. But yeah, so you may be asking, like, what's the goal from here? Well, it's honestly... there are a few keystones I could take. So I could take this one right here. Shadow Shaping is going to be good because you favor a bunch of maps you don't want. And so I'm going to be forcing maps that, I mean, not necessarily maps that I want, but it's going to be removing maps that I don't want from the pool. So, and we could also get this chance for a special implicit modifier, which could be essences, could be harvest, could be a lot of things. So that could be the node I take there. Yeah, but this is going to be just the blaster tree. I'm going to be running this tree probably for the first 2 or 3 days. Until I move into high investment expedition, which changes this entire atlas. So I'm not going to be getting into that in this video since this was already pretty long. But anyway, I hope this was valuable to you guys, and I will see you in the next one and live on Friday, actually.